Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spotlight. My name is Father John Jasica, pastor of St. George Parish, and we're here as this Spotlight series is a chance to put the spotlight on different members of the parish staff of St. John the Divine and St. George and other parishioners, just so that we get to know one another. And so in this episode, we are very honored to be able to, and I have the privilege of interviewing Deacon Don St, who's the permanent deacon at St. John the Divine Parish. Welcome, Deacon Don. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Father. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so we, as people may know, we've been meeting as a staff every week on Thursday afternoons via Teams and so online virtual meetings. And Deacon Don has been part of those meetings as we get together, we plan, we chat, we get to know one another. And we thought that this would be important too, to be able to have these little spotlight profiles, just so that everybody gets to know each other, because you know what, we're going to be one family, two parishes, one family, and all trying to be the best people we can be proclaim the good news in a great way. And we're having lots of fun along the way. So Deacon Don, thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised? Career stuff, family. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, I was born and raised in Windsor, Ontario. I was the eldest of 6 kids. My mother came from Quebec and my father came from New Brunswick. So there was 4 brothers, like there was 3 brothers under me and 2 sisters. And well, we grew up and it was good. It was good.
Awesome.
We ended up going to French school when first starting out, actually. When they were just forming, we didn't actually have a school at the time when I was growing up. And we kept going from one school to another. Eventually, we ended up getting a school, St. Teresa's in Windsor.
Okay.
And we stayed with that until we got to high school. And then it was a choice between Brennan and Herman Secondary School. And well, Brennan, there was 3 of us that were going to go to high school almost at the same time. And they were charging to go to school at that time.
That's right.
To go to Catholic school. And so basically when I became a teenager, I started getting involved with church. It was at Vatican II.
Okay.
Vatican II was just coming in. There was something about that excited me, because you know what? Somebody said that they needed some young person to get a group going. And I was only 14 at the time, but I was given that opportunity. And then I realized I got to get some money. I don't have any money to get this thing going. And I actually went in front of some adults and I asked for it.
Wow.
Which is not something that you would do prior to that.
Absolutely.
You know? And so that basically got me going with service. And I ended up doing, it was good. It was, we got people together. There was no core because I belonged to the French Canadian church in Windsor, the St. Jerome.
St. Jerome, okay, yeah.
Yes, and I grew up there. And so we knew all the people there and we knew all the kids. And the kids got together. All the kids got together. It worked out really fine. Then we got involved with some of the Ontario associations for francophones,
okay,
like that, and I started working in that service area as well. So, but I had to learn the ropes. My first trip to Niagara was not Niagara Falls for a convention they were having, our conference, and then that was the first time I ever went away from home. But those are the kind of experiences that I had as a kid, and I enjoyed that. High school was Herman Secondary High School in Windsor. They're champion football players. I didn't play, but I did try out. The thing is that we kept beating Brennan all the time, which is okay.
That's good. You have some pride in your school sports. Absolutely.
Well, it was sure. And the thing is that we didn't give up our faith. For sure, we did.
Absolutely not.
My parents made sure of that. God bless them. My mom and dad is very important for us to keep in line with and recognize where all the blessings we got came from.
So were you the whole family go to church?
Yeah,
St.
well, yes,
Jerome's?
we had a whole seat. Like, I mean, 6 kids and 2 parents,
Wow,
and every Sunday it was always at 10 o'clock mass. It was
very good,
different
awesome.
priests, Monsignor Noel, all kinds of people. There was I became an altar server. So the thing was that there seemed to be a new vitality within the church. Um, there was excitement. It was kind of
Mhm.
like what we're going through right now with this family of churches.
Yeah, there's lots of excitement,
It, it is, it
lots of
is.
fun and discussions. You're right. I think we all look forward to the Thursday afternoon meetings because we get to share ideas, we get energy from each other, and
Exactly.
seeing the potential of really the gift of each parish, that there'll be gifts to one another.
So,
Awesome.
so we went from there, and then I got married. I was 21 when I was married. Was going to
Wow.
be celebrating 45 years.
Wow.
Got 2 children. One Eric, he's 41, and my daughter is 31, Mary. We've got 5 grandchildren. We have
Wow.
2 great-grandchildren.
Wow. You're keeping busy with
Oh
being
yeah, 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 and
grandparent.
we certainly enjoy it. We certainly enjoy being a part of that.
Wow. And now where did you get married? In St. Jerome's or?
It was Saint Jerome. His father Jacques Cato.
Okay. Yeah.
It was his first mass
Wow.
for a wedding, and it was an English French wedding. It was the
Okay.
first time there was a mixture, um, and my wife and Joanne at that time was Anglican.
Okay.
So it was kind of neat. There was we were introducing that, the pattern, I guess, that developed later on.
Mm-hmm.
You get married to who you love.
Absolutely.
Do
And
you understand it?
you've been blessed
Yeah,
with families. That's
that's right.
awesome. Now, how did you did you move around during that time? What brought you to London?
Well, at that time, I was by the time I ended up going to university, I went to university. I was given an opportunity to go to Queen's and a few others, and because my girlfriend, who is now my wife, was coming to London, she was going to the school of nursing.
Okay.
I chose to come to Western. Went for a year, didn't work out, so I went to University at Chrysler. I called it. I worked at Chrysler for a while,
Yeah.
and I got to learn about that. And later on, I made a choice and a decision to get into medical lab technology.
Okay.
When I became a medical lab technologist later on.
And what was involved in that, being a medical lab technologist?
Well, medical lab technologist, I had to learn 5 disciplines. Like hematology, immunohematology, microbiology, chemistry, and histology, and you had to get registered in all of those.
Wow.
And to work in it. So I was a technologist. I wasn't just a technician. And then it was kind of interesting. It was very interesting. But the thing was, when I got out, there was no work.
Ah.
There was no work. So we ended up going out west for 5 years.
Okay.
And it was a good experience.
Awesome.
By then we had our first son, so it was good.
Awesome. Then you ended up eventually, I guess, coming back to London.
That's right. And it came back to London. And again, we had to make a choice when we came back to London. It was to do with we had to make a decision on a few things, and it got to the point where we made a decision about having somebody at home all the time. And I made that choice. I made that choice of staying at home. And remember that movie, Mr. Mom?
I do. Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah. And
I
I think that's,
I didn't mind it because we needed to do it.
yeah. And what a gift that is. I mean, we know that kids get more because of the more attention and more care from one of the parents being able to stay home to support them and nurture them. Of course, we also need to make money, and that's so people make sacrifices. And you and Joanne made the sacrifice for someone to be home, and you were home to be with the kids, and that's a great gift. I mean, what a blessing and opportunity, because that doesn't happen too often anymore, where one of the parents does. They're able to make the management of their lives different and maybe make some, the challenging sacrifices to be able to do that. And what a blessing that is that you were able to make those decisions.
Well, we were blessed and we were able to do it. I was able to get some part-time work, and we were able to do it. And I think, like in my opinion, and it's always been, this must have been from my parents that gave it to me, was the importance of placing like when we work, we always place the kids ahead of ourselves, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes we have to move and get closer to the children as well. So I
Yeah.
made that decision.
And that's a great gift and blessing. And so then I mean, obviously, so the kids are raised and everything's, and you're a permanent deacon. So when were you ordained?
I was ordained in 2017.
Okay.
And the story behind that is that when it first was announced in the diocese, I had said yes, and I applied. Except I was at Holy Rosary at the time, and there was a new priest there, and we didn't know each other that well. So anyways, the process, there was a lot of applicants, and they only taken 10 people, and that was fine. And I was busy anyways, because I was doing a lot of different service things. And I remember not feeling that disappointed about it, but I was interested in it, especially the way that they discuss it as being, in service.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been what I've been called to do, in one way or another. So when I heard about the diaconate, I was excited, but like I said, I ended up applying, and they told me no at that time. But then I got an opportunity, and some of the best discussions I've ever had are in parking lots. And I remember there was a deacon. We were coming out of church at St. Justin's, and there was a deacon there, Deacon Joe Manzera, and he comes out, and he just finished doing a homily in church. It was this first, I think it was, and we were talking. I used to be in the choir with him, so he started telling me about this and that, and I told him how interested I was. He says, Don, they're still asking for people. Why don't you go? You still got 2 weeks. Now, by then, I was a lot older. I was 58 years old at the time, 57 years old.
Mm.
And I figured, well, I'll give it a shot.
Sure.
And basically what I did was I ended up applying, and for goodness sakes, they took me.
Mm.
And I was so pleased about that. I was very, very happy.
Yeah,
it brought me a great amount of joy.
So you were a parishioner of Holy Rosary.
I was Holy Rosary for
I
8
went
years.
to Holy Rosary Elementary School, so I know the area well. I know the church community there well.
And the story behind that is one day we were looking for a mass, and we just stopped in there for a minute. We were actually parishioners at St. Justin's, and we stopped there for a minute. And you know what happened? Somebody put I was singing at church, and all of a sudden somebody came up to me and says, "Do you want to sing with us?"
Wow.
And I said, yeah, okay. So I stayed there 8 years,
Wow.
part of the RCIA, and it was.
Yeah, it was a beautiful community, and I had a great time at the school. There's a beautiful, and so then as Holy Rosary closed eventually, so you're at St. Justin, so you're parishioners there. What brought you to St. John the Divine?
St. John the Divine. Well, it's when I was going into my, I was doing my last year in the diaconate, and basically it was to do with, they already had 2 deacons and 3 priests at so the altar was full. It was like, it was full. So basically it was John that recommended, why don't you try going to St. John the Divine? And I said, sure, I don't mind at all. So that's if they'll accept me. And Father Pio was gracious. Nice. And he accepted me. But it wasn't just Father Pio, it was the whole parish. It was wonderful. Because when I went there, I didn't know anybody. It's like when a priest has to go to another parish. You go to a priest, you start at the bottom. You go down and you start at the bottom, and you work way up by getting to know people.
Yeah.
And how do you get to know people is by doing things with them. And so they gave me the opportunity to take part in some of the things that were going on. And I got to know people, and they welcomed me. And that's the beautiful thing about St. John of the Divine. It's a welcoming, reaching out parish. It's really amazing.
And
So I've
so
stayed there since then. Yeah.
awesome. And so part of what kind of roles have you done as the deacon there then at St. John? What have you involved yourself in the parish?
Well, as far as I gotten involved with Saint Vincent de Paul, and I got involved with that and with the spiritual aid, but I also, I get involved with some of the functions that they do, the hampers, they developed a new system. It almost looks like a grocery store at
Okay.
Christmas time in the hall. It's
Mm-hmm.
very nice. People are given the opportunity to select what they want.
Right.
And what they need. And that's that it's just nice to see people when and to see them and to say hello to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Engage
mean?
them.
Instead of just
Yeah.
dropping off something or just giving them a box. So
Right.
nice.
And you preach on a regular basis?
I do every third week with Father Don. I end up preaching every third week. Father Pio, there was a schedule.
Okay.
There was 2 deacons at one time. There was Bob was
Hartman.
there. Yes, he was there.
That's right.
And so what we did was we alternated, and we were scheduled. And yes, I've been preaching pretty much once a month ever since I've been there.
Nice.
Yeah, and I made myself available if needed be, so at different times.
That's awesome.
And you know what? It's and of course Mass. We rotated on masses, so everybody got to talk to us.
Yeah.
We went to different masses, so that was nice. But with Father Don, it's every third Sunday.
Awesome.
This past Sunday, I couldn't do it, but
yeah. So you're involved in looks like a number of different things, and you've talked about, and you mentioned how welcoming and how amazing the people are at St. John the Divine. And I think that's true as I'm talking to a few different people in terms of what's happening, what's going on, and connecting and learning a little bit, working with all the staff along with you. And what else? How else would you describe St. John the Divine? What kind of blessings have you experienced there?
Well, the blessings I've experienced is the opportunities that I've gotten to, how can I say, witness what it is to be united in trying to make a church work. Mm. I've noticed that, and I've tried, but the thing is, I'm there to help, and I'm there to observe, and I'm seeing it's the people, whenever they're asked to do something, they always step forward and they do it. It's always, it always gets done. Like some of the garage sales that I had, they had amazing garage sales.
Absolutely. It's a big thing on the calendar for sure. For a lot of people, even parishioners at St. George.
Catholic Women's League is very great, very, very good with some of the functions that they do. Knights of Columbus as well with their golf tournament. There's a lot of things that are going on within that parish, and they love their parish. Absolutely. The people love their parish. The schools, of course, I was involved with that for a while with Father Pio. I'd assist at Mass with him. Other times with Father Don, I was, when there wasn't COVID, I would do and basically do Liturgy of the Word with the kindergartens, grade 1s and grade 2s. Yeah, awesome. Because it was just filling there wasn't enough room for them in the gym. That's right. So they separate them. So I was doing things like that. That's awesome. Wanted to get into bereavement at St. John the Divine, but I'm looking forward to learning more about it through at St. George's. Yeah, that's of course when we've been, one of the things that we're talking about during the meetings is we're getting to know each other, we're planning some things, but we're also looking at ways where we can already, even before being activated as a family, where we can bridge some ministries, share some ministries. So some of the things with Bridget in terms of the youth council and stuff, we're certainly benefiting from, where we're going to make connections with something's already well established at St. John the Divine, and the bereavement ministry, you being involved with some of the stuff that we have so that we can benefit the family. In the conversations that we've been having, in kind of, getting to know one another and kind of the momentum that we're creating, what are your thoughts of the future for us as a family of parishes of St. John the Divine and St. George? Well, I can't see why it wouldn't work. I mean, it's the reality is, it's just, I get the same feeling. It's that feeling that I would love to be able to go to every church and be able to enter a church and feel comfortable being in that church, like I belong there. And I got that feeling right away from St. George. You know, I've attended Mass. I've gone there. When I was doing Rosary at the schools,
Oh, yes.
do the functions there as well.
That's right.
So it was like, I felt comfortable at St. George. And I think we're a good match.
Yeah, I agree. We're having lots of fun. We're seeing, again, kind of the pieces fitting together that and I think I've been mentioning this to people that I talk to about this. I said, that we see that when we're coming together, we're going to strengthen each other. We're stronger together than we would be apart. We're seeing kind of each place, each parish community offering its gifts of who they are to benefit the other. And, you know, it can't get any better than that, really. And we're able to have some laughs along the way too, and enjoy one another's company.
Well, sure. And I think that's what feeling comfortable is about, and also we're able to discuss, we're able to talk. Having an open channel for communication is number one, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we've been talking about, making sure for all the parishioners, but also for one another. And that's I think I think you're right. It feels, you know, when we feel at home. I think we certainly in our conversations, even though we're meeting online in the midst of the pandemic, as joint staffs, there is this comfort of trusting one another that's developed, and this openness that I think we experience in our both parish communities, when we feel welcomed and we feel that we fit in and we feel that we're part of the family of these two communities. That I think that's happening in our conversations, and then the need, and I know that you've mentioned these in the meetings, that we make sure that we communicate, we share, we involve the parish communities in as we discern marching forward as a family of parishes.
And we listen to each other. I mean, that's the other thing that we have to do in the communication. And I think it's, like I've attended Mass, and I got to sit front seat. And the thing is that wish that I have, that like I've been in a lot of churches throughout Canada, and I've been, and I would love to be able to walk into a church, and it's happened to me a lot, by the way, but certainly you can feel it at St. John the Divine, sit in the church and feel like you are part of the Catholic faith. And that's like, it'd be like home. Well, that's like that at St. George's. And I think that's the way it should be throughout the, you know, I don't, some people might disagree, but I think as far as this family goes, I think we're going to get out of that notion of how can I say, ownership, ownership of just like, yes, we're going to be separate parishes, but we're trying to form that idea of Catholicism being universal.
Yeah, we're brothers and sisters.
That's exactly in Christ.
And that we, again, this whole idea is that we're going to become better together. So,
yes, I believe
so we enrich ourselves. And I think this sense that it becomes a decision of, we want this to happen. We want this not only to work, we want it to become, and I think it's one of those things that we've been praying through too, is that we want this to become what God wants it to be.
Exactly.
And we all work to make that happen. And I think there's that sense of kind of surrendering to where the Spirit's going to guide us, for the sake of really what we've always been talking about, for the sake of all the people of both parishes and the people that we're going to reach out and as we continue to serve.
But the amazing thing about it too is that yes, we can do the work, we can do some of the, but guess what? In the long run, it's going to be the people within the community that are going to come alive, and it's going to start working.
And that's when the excitement really happens, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's what, you know, so it's going to be a process.
Absolutely.
Day at a time.
But we'll get there.
For sure.
We'll get there with your help.
There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. People have a lot of questions, and they have concerns. I've been feeling that a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, anytime
we don't have all the answers yet.
That's right. Anytime there's change,
Yes.
People have questions, and we're entering in some of the unknown. So we welcome those questions,
Hmm.
and we would together find the answers. We
That's right.
together, create what we need to for the sake of, I think, building home, like building family, like you're describing, and feeling comfortable in this sense of ownership, this sense of community, and being inclusive. I think they're all there. So, with your help and the staff and all the amazing volunteers in both parishes and the
Yes.
people, we're going to do this together. And God's going to guide us. And so, thank you for taking the time to share a little bit about your life, which has been filled with, I think, a life of service, of faithfulness. And we thank you for your service to St. John the Divine, and also now as we work forward to St. George. And I've enjoyed being able to hear your wisdom and your insights at our meetings, and helping us kind of figure out how we're going to do this together, and how we're going to be a brighter and stronger sign of God's love in this world.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me, and we're gonna be excited to be working together, I think, in serving God's grace and wherever He's going to lead us. So thank you, Deacon Don.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. My pleasure.